When you're looking for KitchenAid innovation and quality, who has the answers, the selection, the price? Ventura TV Appliance. With billions in nationwide appliance buying power, more than Home Depot and Best Buy combined, will help you save. Our low prices on Energy Star qualified KitchenAid appliances save you energy and money, and pay no interest on select models when paid in full within 12 months. Ventura TV Appliance, serving you since 1951.
Hi, I'm John Malos. Welcome to this live edition of Connect With Me on the showroom floor at Ventura TV. It's a Friday morning and we're talking bankruptcy, my friends. That's right. If you're in a situation where you are on the verge of filing on bankruptcy, hey, today's your day. You can call in and ask a question. We have an expert in the house. Also, the second half of the program, we'll talk about a burlesque event that's taking place tomorrow night here in the city of Fresno. 436-MeTV, option 11. We are back in just a momento.
Tonight I want to discuss the importance of the television medium to the American people.
Welcome back to the program. It is a Friday morning. My gosh, where did the week go? We had a fun week here and a fun week next week. By the way, I do want to mention that I will be gone on Tuesday. I've got to take my daughter back up to Shriners Hospital in Sacramento next Tuesday because she just recently had an operation, so we got to go for a follow-up there. Not doing too good on the recovery. So you know who will be filling in for me here on Tuesday will be Monty Torres. He is the KMPH Fox 26 news anchor, the Monday through Friday news anchor. He will be here to guide you along through all the trials and tribulations of Connect With Me here on Me TV Network. And then on Monday, the day before I leave, we'll have Dennis Hart here. He's always a kick. We'll be talking about Benjamin Netanyahu's speech to Congress and a few other things. We'll talk about Hillary Clinton, maybe a little Derek Carr, maybe a little of this, a little of that. You know how Dennis is, right? We always get into a little interesting conversation here. And I do want to mention the Clovis High School State Championship wrestling team. The championships will take place tomorrow. And our guy here, Hector Coronado, has a son there. His name is Hexton Coronado, 285 pounds. Hector's son will be taking part in this event tomorrow. That's Saturday. So we want to wish the Coronado family, in particular Hexton, good luck in his state title match tomorrow. I do want to mention before I get to the main thrust of the program that you're watching us on Comcast channel 187, 43.6, and 13.1. Now keep in mind, that's the live portion of the broadcast because you're watching us live right now as opposed to dead. Anyway, the replay comes later in the day on 13.6 U2 at 2 o'clock, and then 4.6 Biz TV at 8 o'clock at night. And later on, you can catch us on YouTube 24/7. The Twitter account still needs a little updating there, but you can follow me on Twitter if you so choose, at John Malos, Me TV. All right, so the main portion of the program today, talking about bankruptcy, and for some, bankruptcy is, well, there's no other way out, and for some, those who have to file, maybe it's a great decision, maybe one of the best decisions you've ever made. I want to put up some graphics now. You take a look at these graphics and see what you think, my friends, because bankruptcy has a lot of components to it. You got the legal part of it, you got the moral, the emotional, and financial. One thing will immediately happen upon filing for bankruptcy. You will put that part of your life behind you, and you will be protected by those bankruptcy laws, whatever's in place. All right, change it. So then you will give notice to your creditors, your landlord, co-signers, any other people that you might owe money to at this point, and eventually, with a little thought and prayer, it'll all go away. Step number 2 in all of this will be collecting the proper documents like vehicle, titles, deeds, mortgages, bank statements, stubs, pay stubs that would be, copies of your credit report. Hey, how about your Social Security card? Are you married? Are you divorced? You must consider alimony and child support in all of this too. They're all right up there on the screen, and we'll get into all this with our guest today. By the way, speaking of our guest, live in our studio right now is Rosalina Nunez. She's been here before. She's a return guest. She is a bankruptcy attorney right here in the city of Fresno. You can call in to us and talk to her directly, 436-ME-TV, option 11. She has a lot of answers, and hopefully you'll have a lot of questions today on the program. We're back in just a moment.
A top secret location. It's the spies who love me, bringing together MeTV's top super spies to fight evil at a memorable moment's notice. They're daring.
That's right.
Brave.
Now what are we gonna do?
The best we can.
Suave.
Does that apply to me, Oscar? Possibly.
And smart.
The old finger in the gun trick.
Maxwell Smart.
MeTV Fresno, channel 43.6 and Xfinity 187.
Back here on the program, and if you have a question about bankruptcy and you have no idea what to do, it's a good time to call in, and maybe even just, you know, if you don't want to call in, that's fine, but at least get a piece of paper, a pen or a pencil, and be ready to take some notes and jot some notes down. And then if you have any questions, you can call in at 436-ME-TV, option 11. And glad you're here again, Rosalina. How are you? Good morning.
Very well. Thank you for having me back.
Well, it's good of you to come back. So let me ask you something. Is being a bankruptcy attorney, is it a thriving business? Are a lot of people going into this bankruptcy situation?
You know, it has slowed down quite a bit since the economy has, you know, sort of picked up a little bit. More people are going back to work, but there are still plenty of people that are filing for bankruptcy that need that relief, that need that protection, that you know, maybe have lost their job sometime in the past, or their hours were cut. People go through a divorce, separations, just life-changing things that happen and make it almost impossible for them to pay back some of these credit card bills or hospital bills, that kind of thing. And so they're, you know, have to consider filing for bankruptcy. So
if I were to simplify bankruptcy just for a moment, would it be the fact that you're just basically not earning enough money is not coming in for you to pay your bills? That's what it amounts to, right? That's a very simplistic way of looking at it.
That is sort of a basic way of looking at it, but if we really just look at what bankruptcy is, that's what it really means. It just means that there's not enough income coming in to pay back those bills, or also that you don't have any assets that you could maybe liquidate. You know, if you have a brand new Mercedes parked in your driveway and it's worth, you know, $40,000.
That could pay a lot of bills.
That could pay a lot of bills,
wow.
But most people don't have that. So, so, you know, it's not having enough assets or having enough income coming in to pay those bills. That's what bankruptcy is.
You know what I like to do is I like to go back to the monologue, full screen graphics, and put up that first one again. I want to go over these because I mentioned them, but I want you to comment on them, because I said that bankruptcy has a lot of components to it: legal, moral, emotional, and financial. Would you agree with everything you see here on the screen?
I would. I mean, especially just my experience with my clients that come in and they really, this is kind of the last resort. This is something that they don't really want to do. No, you know, nobody wakes up and says, today I get to file bankruptcy, but it is a legal solution to a big problem. And so it is.
Is it more emotional for most people than, you know, I said legal, moral, emotional, financial, but I would imagine this is a very emotional thing for somebody to come in and say, man, you know, it's over.
It definitely is, and I've seen that many times with probably all of my clients that have come in that they come in sort of worn out because they've tried everything else. They really have, and there is a stigma with bankruptcy. You know, people don't really talk about it openly. It's not something you discuss at a dinner party. Hey, I filed bankruptcy last week. You know, it's not something that people
you don't brag about it.
People don't brag about it, exactly. But if we were really honest with each other, I think that we would find out that more people than we realize have filed bankruptcy or have been very close to it. So
do a lot of people come into your office and they say, my God, how did I get to this point? How did I get here? Why am I here?
Well, I don't think that they come in and do that. Most people realize what's happened, and they share that with me, and it is an emotional thing. Sometimes we cry together because it is a very emotional thing. It's usually a series of things that have happened, like I mentioned before. It could be that they have gone through a divorce, or they were in a bad car accident and didn't have health insurance, and now they have this huge hospital bill that they can't pay.
I'm laughing about this, but divorce can do it to you.
Oh, definitely, definitely.
Because by the time you pay the attorneys, by the time you liquidate your assets and split everything in half, sometimes that can be a very, I'm not laughing because I went through a divorce, but it can be financially devastating to some people.
It can, because you come from a household where there's two people usually that are working.
Yeah.
So you have this two income household, and now you're in a one person household. You're single, and it's just your income, and maybe the things, your obligations, some credit card debt or a mortgage that you took out because you and your wife were able to pay that together. But now that you're single, it makes it difficult and maybe impossible.
Yeah, and if you have kids, that kind of complicates the issue. Hey, Lauren, I want to put up the graphic from the monologue number 2. I want to put that second one up there. You know, you got to give credit to all these people, right? And you got to call your creditors, any other people that you owe money to. You got to contact these people, right? If you owe them money, is that right? You got to get on the phone? I would assume. I mean, I'm just guessing. I'm asking you.
Right.
You're the expert.
Right. No, definitely. It's the notices go out through the bankruptcy court, so it's not something that the debtor has to be responsible for, or that even I have to do. When we prepare the petition, we put all of this together. You know, we pull credit reports. I have my clients bring in all of their bills, and it's such a relief for them to come in and just kind of dump all of these bills on my desk, and they never have to think about it again.
So the client doesn't have to pick up the telephone and say, I've got to call Comcast Cable because I can't pay the bill. You don't have to do that.
No, none of that happens. So, you know, that I could imagine that could be a little embarrassing, but they don't have to go through any of that, especially when they have an attorney. The attorney puts everything together, everything gets sent to the court, and then notices go out to everyone.
And then let's put step 2 up there. I talked about this in the monologue too, and this deals with a lot of these various things that you see on the screen here. Anything you want to comment on that you see there?
Yeah, definitely. You know, some of the debts that are not dischargeable in bankruptcy that I get a lot of questions on are like child support, alimony. Those type of debts we're not going to get rid of in a bankruptcy. Most IRS debt is not dischargeable, although there are some exceptions. We are able to discharge a lot of IRS debt. I just helped someone that's going to be able to discharge $50,000 in IRS debt.
Wow.
So that's a huge relief, life-changing. But all these other collections, the unsecured debt, credit card debt, medical bills, you know, hospital bills, all that stuff goes away typically in a Chapter 7.
Why doesn't alimony and child support go away?
Why doesn't it?
Yeah, in a bankruptcy.
The law is written so that those dependents are protected. So the benefit of protecting children and a wife who needs that spousal support is higher than you being able to get rid of that debt.
But if no income is coming in, do they have to wait until that person starts working again and get out of bankruptcy, or
yeah, I mean
work?
That would be more of a family law issue, but you know, if someone owes child support and they have no income, then the child is not going to get that money, but the interest is going to grow, and you get behind, and that becomes a big problem. But eventually, you know, hopefully these children do get their child support.
What's the biggest misconception about bankruptcy?
I think the biggest misconception is that if you own a house or if you have a car, that you're going to have to liquidate those things, that you're going to have to surrender those things. And I would say 90% of the time that's not the case. Most people get to keep.
Here we are. Look at that. You know, this is me. Not really guessing, but I did a little research and I guessed right. That's right. So that is a huge misconception, I guess, that you're going to lose. I think that's a huge fear. Oh my God, I'm going bankrupt. I'm going to lose my house.
Right, right.
Not necessarily true.
It's not, and most of the time it's not. The way the bankruptcy law is written, it allows for you to keep your house. It gives you quite a bit of an exemption. It's a homestead exemption that we apply to help you keep your house. You know, the bankruptcy law isn't written in a way that we want to render you homeless. We don't want to kick you out of your house. If you don't have the assets to pay, then those things get forgiven.
Okay,
so.
let's put that graphic up on the screen one more time before we go to break here. And I want to ask you a question. Okay, it doesn't mean necessarily you're going to lose your car either. It doesn't mean you'll lose everything that you own. So as you can see up there, I put up there, this may or may not be true. How can someone avoid losing all of their assets?
Well, I think that it's important to have an attorney, because an attorney knows what the law is as far as what exemptions are allowed, what you're going to be able to protect. And that is something called exemption planning. It's the attorney planning the bankruptcy before we step into court, before we put everything sort of at risk. So before we declare bankruptcy, we have to make sure that you'll be able to protect the things that you do have. So it's called exemption planning, and that's, I think, the number one thing you can do to protect yourself is get an attorney that knows the law, and you can step into bankruptcy confidently knowing that you're not going to risk losing your house.
Yeah, and every situation is different. It's an individual thing. Not everybody has the same assets or the same bills, so I guess you're right. You got to consult an attorney, and they'll be able to figure it out for you, because you know, in some cases you might lose a few things, but not everything, right?
Right. You know, right now people are filing their taxes, and so they're getting a big tax refund.
Yeah.
And so the bankruptcy trustees are sort of looking at that and seeing if that's something that they can grab and maybe liquidate. But there are ways to protect those things, to plan the bankruptcy so that you can hold on to everything and simply walk away debt free.
Yeah, it seems like it happens all the time, though. We got to go to break. When you get the tax refund, then something happens, and you got to spend that money on something. It's hard to get ahead sometimes. Hey, we do have a phone call. Let's take that before we go to break. Good morning, caller. You're on the air with Rosalina Nunez. Go ahead.
Yeah, good morning. I got a question. I am 53, no assets, really nothing to lose or anything, but how can you afford bankruptcy when you're on disability and you're kind of in that conundrum, I guess you could say?
Sure, I get this call all the time, but there are ways to file a bankruptcy, and you don't always need to have an attorney, especially if you don't have any assets. There are less expensive ways to file a bankruptcy, but as far as my office, I do offer a payment plan, and it's a very reasonable price, especially when you compare what an attorney charges to file a bankruptcy and you compare that to the amount of debt that you're going to get rid of. It is a fraction of what you're going to get rid of. And so it makes a lot of sense. But you would have to come in sort of for a consultation. We could discuss your matter, your specific case, and I'm sure that it would make sense to you after you spoke to me as well.
Okay. All right, caller, thanks for that. And hey, audience participation, always an important part of the program here. Connect with me, 436-MeTV, option 11. We're back in just a moment.
You can find movies on over-the-air channel 13.3. Movies. Our name says it all.
And we're back here on Connect with Me on a Friday morning talking about something that's not too pleasant, bankruptcy. So how'd you become a bankruptcy attorney? That's kind of, you're dealing with a topic or a subject that's not all that... It's people come in, they're depressed, they're not happy, How do you deal with that
You know,
yourself? I mean,
I
it can be
actually-
depressing.
It can be. I mean, for the person coming in, because they've gone through that for months, they have contemplated this. So in that aspect, yes, it can be depressing. But on my side, I really enjoy it. Bankruptcy has been wonderful because I have been able to change lives.
There you are, right there. You're studying for something. Are you studying for a test there? No, I'm just kidding.
I don't know what's happening there. But, you know, bankruptcy clients are probably the most appreciative because it is life-changing for them.
Yeah.
They're so stressed out usually. They're coming in, they're kind of going in a circle, trying to figure out a different way out of the debt. And they come to the realization that bankruptcy is just a legal right. It's a legal right that we all have if we get in that tight spot.
And that's your office there, right?
It is. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And, oh, that's our buddy Chuck McGill, by the way, on the left there. And obviously, he's been here before. He's a defense attorney. He's a great guy. And he comes in oftentimes and gives us some legal advice here on certain cases that we want to talk about on the air. And of course, when you consult with clients, when they leave your office, are they usually more upbeat than when they came in?
Definitely. My clients hug me after a consultation and
Really?
they say, I am so glad I came to see you. I'm going to be able to sleep tonight because I now have a plan. I know what I need to do. My fee is reasonable, and you know, we have a payment plan, and they're able to just go on about their day, and now they don't have to constantly just think about credit card debt all day.
Yeah, it's good to know. You're not gouging the customers. I like that.
Never.
I like that.
Never.
Hey, I want to put each of these on the screen, and there's a lot of information to digest. And so, you know, you, the viewers at home, can look at this, and maybe you'll have a pen, piece of paper. Let's take a call before we put that up. But have your pen, piece of paper ready. You can jot down some notes. Even DVR this program. Good information for down the road in case you want to contact Rosalina. Caller, are you there? Go ahead.
Yes, a real good question for the lawyer. I would like to know, there's 2 chapters. Is it a chapter 7 and the difference between 7 and 11? And another good question is, can you get back your credit after going through the bankruptcy route after, let's say, 5 years or whatever? I know some people have done it, you know, but that's very few. But the ones that do, I think there's a limit of 5 years or whatever. You can't do this or whatever, you know, according to the lawyers. But the difference between a 7 and 11, can you let the audience know?
Okay.
Definitely. Thank you for the question. So I think that the question should be, what's the difference between a Chapter 7 and a Chapter 13? Those are the 2 chapters that are available to individuals like ourselves. A Chapter 11 is what businesses usually file. So like when Mervyn's and Gottschalk's went bankruptcy, they filed a Chapter 11. But Chapter 7 is what we refer to straight bankruptcy. It's what 90% of people file. You know, you're able to get rid of the unsecured debt, usually at 100%, without losing your assets.
It says right there, does not liquidate all your assets. Is that true?
It usually,
Okay.
you know, every case is different, but most people have a big mortgage on their house, or they're still making payments on a car, or if they've paid off their car, it's not really worth that much. And so in those cases, they usually can keep all of those things.
But see, I like the part where it says stop wage garnishments, stop any lawsuits, stop an eviction. It will?
Chapter 7 and 13 both do that. It will, as soon as you file bankruptcy, will immediately put a stop to all of that.
Wow.
The difference between 7 and 13 is that Chapter 13 is designed for people who are making a little bit more money, who do not qualify under the income threshold. And so in that case, so let's say you have a physician, you have a doctor who's making a ton of money, but he also has a lot of debt. Will he be able to file bankruptcy? Yes, he'll be able to probably file a Chapter 13, but the court will say, well, since you've got a lot of income coming in still, you're going to have to make payments on that debt. So it's a repayment plan under Chapter 13.
What about that one line that says stop foreclosure if you file a petition online? Explain that.
All right. So I've had plenty of situations where clients come in and they've got their house up on foreclosure for, Tuesday morning. So I get a call like today on a Friday and they say, my house is going up for foreclosure Tuesday morning at 10 a.m. Can we do anything? We can file over the weekend. We can file a bankruptcy petition online. Federal court systems are all online now. So we can file a bankruptcy online over the weekend. We don't need the court to be open. And we can stop that foreclosure by Tuesday morning.
Wow. So you were telling me earlier you could just file that like minutes before a hearing.
Minutes before. So if the house is going up for sale at 10 a.m., as long as we get it in by 9:59, then we can stop the foreclosure.
And I see there you can keep your house, your car, any money that you have, retirement, business. Hey, retirement. Let's ask you about that. How does a retirement account come into play in a bankruptcy? Like IRAs or maybe an annuity or a 401k? How does that come into play?
So as long as it falls under the ERISA Act, so as long as it is clearly set up for retirement purposes, so as long as it's an IRA, a 401k, a 403b, one of those retirement plans, then it will be protected under bankruptcy law at 100%. So you can file for bankruptcy, liquidate, or rather discharge all of your debt, and even if you have $500,000 in a retirement plan, it is untouchable in a bankruptcy.
That's good to know.
Yeah, it is good.
Yeah, I'll bet most people that come into your office, they don't even know that.
They're
probably thinking, oh my God, I've saved all these years for retirement, now I have to give it up.
Right.
And not true.
And that's not true. And see, that's one of the wonderful things about bankruptcy is that it is not designed to make you homeless. So we're not going to take your house. It's not designed to where we're going to ruin your future and take all of your retirement. Most of the time you're going to be able to keep your house. And the retirement is always 100% protected.
Gosh, that's good news. Good to hear. For a lot of people, hope you're taking notes out there, maybe DVRing the program, because great information to take with you and keep, and you can look at it any time. We're going to take a break here, 436 MeTV option 11. We're back in just a couple of moments here on Connect with Me.
Frigidaire. It means the first electric refrigerator. The first compact electric range. Now, there's the Frigidaire Gallery Range with Symmetry double ovens. It's designed to cook multiple dishes at multiple temperatures, so you can prepare the entire meal at the same time. Frigidaire, over 90 years of legendary innovation.
See the full line of Frigidaire appliances at Ventura TV Electronics and Appliances.
Watch Dr. TV on over-the-air channel 13.9.
Back here on the show, Connect with Me on MeTV Fresno on this Friday morning. And are we doing selfies on the set now? Okay, so the caller wanted to know about chapter 7 and 11. So we're going to go through these, chapter and verse, by the way, no pun intended. Let's start with chapter 13, because we just went through chapter 7. So let's put those up on the screen. Keep them up there. We'll go through them very slowly here and kind of dissect these a little bit. So what are you looking at on the screen there? What sticks out?
Well, let's talk about chapter 13. See, this, I just had a client come in who will likely have to file a chapter 13 because she owns 2 homes. And so we're not going to be able to protect both of them. We can protect the one that she lives in because we can apply the homestead exemption. But the other house, the little condo she's got in Southern California, we won't be able to protect. And so what she's looking at, so now based on her income, she would be able to file Chapter 7 and get rid of all of her debt. Okay. But because she has assets, so because she's got more than one home and she's got quite a bit of equity in that other condo, we're going to file a Chapter 13. And what will happen there is she'll end up paying back the debt interest-free. So she will end up paying 100% of the debt back, but she will be protected under bankruptcy because no one can sue her during the bankruptcy.
Why not file for Chapter 7 then?
Because under a Chapter 7, she will have to sell that condo, that second home.
Under Chapter 13, she won't have to do that.
She won't have to. She'll be able to keep both homes, but she'll have to pay back the debt in a repayment plan. And we'll be able to stretch it out into a either 3 or 5 year plan. And so she doesn't have a problem with that because she'd rather protect the house.
So let's go through some of these. You can see those. Do people go to a credit counseling program, for example?
There is. So in 2005, the bankruptcy code changed a little bit. And one of the things that changed was that they added the requirement that now everyone that files for bankruptcy has to complete a course in credit counseling. And so that has to be done before we can even file a petition. But the great thing about these credit counseling agencies is that they're available online, and it's a course that takes maybe an hour on the internet.
And what about the negative impact on your credit report? That one caller that called in said, well, how long is this going to stay on my credit report?
Sure.
5 years, 7 years, 10 years? What is it?
All right. So the bad news is that it will appear on the credit report for 10 years. Okay. But that does not mean that you're going to have bad credit for 10 years. Okay, that's a misconception. The good news is that immediately after you've completed your bankruptcy, you're going to be able to reestablish your credit. I have clients who call me the day that their case closes because they want a printed copy of that final order. With that final order, they're able to go to any of these car lots in Fresno and get financed for a brand new vehicle. So the credit starts right up again. As soon as the bankruptcy's done, you can start working on your credit again.
Right, and I think we have the next page here on Chapter 13. Do we have another page here? Or just one? On Chapter 13? Okay. So this is what you're looking at Chapter 13. So the caller asked also about Chapter 11. That's for big businesses like, let's say General Motors goes out of business. They file for Chapter 11, right?
Right, very likely.
What does that do for them?
Well, it is also a repayment plan. But the example I gave earlier was that when Gottschalk's and Mervyn's filed for bankruptcy, those were two really big stores here in Fresno, and unfortunately they did have to go through bankruptcy, and that's what they filed. They filed a Chapter 11.
I see.
It allows them to do a reorganization of their debts, and so it puts everyone sort of in the same playing field and allows them to catch up on those debts. Unfortunately they weren't able to recover and they ended up closing, but that's something that for big businesses.
Do you ever handle a Chapter 11 or no? Is it mainly individuals?
I meant mainly individuals. So people like you and I mean, the everyday person that needs to file bankruptcy, that's who I represent. So
the first thing, what about people who try to hide assets? Have you had people try to hide money, cash under the mattress, a house, a boat, a car?
Fortunately, that's never happened with any of my clients. Okay. Of course, it's happened. There's cases that I've read about where.
Give us some advice about that. Don't try it at home, right?
Don't try it at home. Definitely not. It's fraud. You're trying to defraud your creditors. There are people who try to transfer title on their vehicles right before bankruptcy. And that's or a house, and that's also considered fraud.
Really? So give me the time period, because what if you think that you're going to file for bankruptcy a year down the road and you turn over the house to your grandmother or your parents or something like that, and then a year later you file for bankruptcy, as opposed to doing it 2 weeks before.
Right.
Is there a little lag time they give you?
It's 4 years. It's a
Really?
4-year time difference
Oh
that
my
you'd have
God.
to wait to file that bankruptcy after deeding over your house. So it's quite a bit of time. After 4 years, it's not considered fraud anymore. But you know, those are all things that we discover during the consultation, just talking with the client and telling them, you know, you have to trust me. I'm here to represent you. I'm here to keep your best interests at heart, to protect you, because I want my clients to go through this and have it be the easiest thing they have to go through. And so I don't want any surprises. And you know, so those are all things that we ask during the consultation. And
can you get in trouble if you find out your client is hiding something? Can legally an attorney become liable?
If I try to help them hide it, then I could be, you know, sanctioned. But you know, I would never do that.
Just
so.
I know you wouldn't. But I'm just saying. I mean, I would imagine there are people out there that maybe have tried this. Maybe they don't know the law. Maybe they're saying, "Oh my God, I can't lose my house. I got to give it to I have to hurry and sign it over to my son or something or whatever."
No, I mean, what's happened with a couple of clients here and there is that right before we're about to file, they come clean and they tell me, you know, I do have the safe deposit box at Bank of Sierra, and I've got $10,000 in there cash.
Holy
you know, is that going to be a
cow.
problem? You know, okay, well, let's take a step back and think.
You actually had a client tell you that?
I've had clients, you know, not specifically that. I can't, you know, disclose specific things, but you know, something similar to that. And so
if you've got 50,000 cash in the safe deposit box and nobody knows about it, how are they going to? I'm not advocating anything. I'm just bringing up.
Well, the thing about
everything.
bankruptcy is that you are, it is federal law, and so it is investigated by the FBI. So it's a serious thing. You're under oath. You're declaring these things under penalty of perjury that you are telling the truth. And so the thing
People
is that
have gone to prison for these kinds of things. You know what I mean?
You know, the thing is that it's not necessary to go through all of that to try to hide things, because most of the time, not always, but most of the time, we're able to protect the things that you have.
And I'll bet most of the time, if you try to pull a fast one, you're going to get caught. I'll bet you. Eventually, somebody's going to notice something. But okay, so once you get done with a client and you get them out of this bankruptcy thing, I know they go to a counseling program. They can do that online. But what advice do you give them? Try to manage their finances better? Or I know for some people it can just get out of control for them, and maybe they don't have control to a certain extent. But what advice do you give them going out the door once this is all over?
You know, and that's kind of why the credit counseling is set up. There's also an exit credit counseling course that they have to do. So after we file, there's another requirement to do a second class. But my advice really is, you know, just manage your money, manage your budget, create a budget, because a lot of times clients come in and they don't even know where their paycheck is going. They just know that they're paying rent and they're maybe paying a car payment, and they don't really know how they're going month to month, how it's happening, but somehow they're doing it. And then during the bankruptcy, part of the petition is we have to disclose that. We have to disclose how much money's coming in and where it's going. And so we make a budget.
You know, I got to tell you though, Rosalina, it is a difficult task. I mean, you have to sit there every month and write out, okay, what bills are going out? Okay, how much is that costing me overall? And then how much am I making? I mean, it's a monumental task sometimes.
It is, and then there are things that come up out of nowhere, you know, just sort of unexpected things, and that can really throw off an entire budget, especially if you're someone that's living paycheck to paycheck. There isn't room for those unexpected things, and a lot of times that's how people end up in bankruptcy, because something comes out of left field, and then the budget goes all out of whack.
Yeah, got a couple of minutes left here. But I want to ask you, what about medical? Somebody gets into a medical catastrophe. Can that wipe somebody out?
It can, because
have you seen it?
We all. I have. I've had a young woman come in who had E. coli after eating a salad, and she ended up in the hospital for weeks and ended up with $1 million bill from the hospital. And this was someone who was living paycheck to paycheck. She had no health insurance, and she had to file bankruptcy. She filed bankruptcy. We did a Chapter 7. We got rid of the entire medical bill and, you know, the little bit of credit card debt that she had, and that was it. She was able to just get back to work. She felt better. She was healthy, physically and financially after the bankruptcy, and so she was able to start over.
Yeah, yeah. She didn't have health insurance, I assume.
Right.
Yeah. Gosh, boy, heartbreaking stories sometimes. People come in. So you're going to be back here next month, I assume, huh?
Definitely.
Is that what I'm reading on the schedule? Did I read that correctly?
You're stuck with me.
Did I read that correctly? Did I see your name on there someplace?
I'll be back.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
so much. You're very pleasant and very, very good information, outstanding information. I appreciate it very much, and I'm sure our viewers do too. Rosalina Nunez, and by the way, before we go, in case somebody wants to get in contact with you, give your phone number out at the office.
I'd love to. Yes, it's 559-221-2677.
All right. If you got bankruptcy problems, and she also does Social Security disability in case you want to get into that area. Anyway, we're going to continue our program here on Connect with Me, 436-MeTV option 11. The second part of our program coming your way. Make sure your DVR is rolling, my friends. Back in a moment.
Now we'll find out once and for all about Clark Kent, Superman.
Look up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's a TV show.
Yes, but who is he? What's his name?
He's Superman.
Golly, Clark, won't that be wonderful seeing Superman?
Fighting a never-ending battle for truth, justice, and television the MeTV way.
No one can do the things that Superman does.
The adventures of Superman.
Now on MeTV Fresno, Xfinity 187.
Want to create something extraordinary? Create perfection. Our lifestyle appliances make it easy. KitchenAid, Ventura TV appliance, and you, when only the best will do.
Tune in to Heartland for the best in true country music. Relive vintage specials, one-of-a-kind concerts, and country music's earliest videos. Heartland is the heart of country. The only place where you can find country music, country stars, and country lifestyles 24/7. Heartland, the heart of country.
Now on channel 13.2.
Attention all units. We have reports of 2 motorcycle cops protecting California's highways.
That's for us, good buddy.
The Men of Chips are on MeTV.
Hi, I'm John Baker. I'm John Baker. He's Officer Baker.
He's the blonde one.
Hi there!
Officer Poncherello, man.
Frank Poncherello.
Well, I'm Frank Poncherello.
And he's the one who's Eric Estrada.
There's no way I wouldn't remember a name like that.
Catch the blonde one and the one who's Eric Estrada on
Now
Chips.
on MeTV Fresno, Xfinity 187.
Speed for Mom and Dad. They do stuff super fast. And now they got this new kitchen, so they're even faster. So they can help us with our free throws.
The time-saving Frigidaire Gallery line with a quick preheat and smudge-proof stainless steel that resists fingerprints and cleans easily. It's mealtime in no time, from start to clean. Frigidaire Gallery.
Save more during Frigidaire Gallery bonus days when you buy 3 or more qualifying appliances. See the full line of Frigidaire appliances at Ventura TV Electronics and Appliances.
Is taking care of laundry taking too much of your time? Have you become a missing mom? With a new fast, efficient efficient washer and dryer from Ventura TV Video Appliance, you'll spend more of your day the way you want. Save now on Frigidaire's Advanced Affinity Laundry Pair. Let Frigidaire save you energy, water, and time. Don't spend your life on laundry. Upgrade today at Ventura TV Video Appliance and save.
Okay, back here on the program here on Connect with Me on MeTV Fresno. Time to have some fun now and talk a little bit about a subject that's a little lighthearted. I want to roll the videotape, my friends, and show you what I'm talking about. Tomorrow night at Frank's Place, and that, my friends, I have to put my trusty glasses on to read the address here. Frank's Place, located at 1432 Fulton Street. You will see the Enchanted Tassel. What is that all about? It's about burlesque. That's right. The Valley Burlesque Society is presenting this event tomorrow night. Saturday, March the 7th. It all starts at 8 o'clock at night at Frank's Place. As a matter of fact, just last week they completed, the Valley Burlesque Society here in Fresno just completed the Fetish Burlesque program. That took place on February 27th and 28th over at the Fresno Soap Company. But this one here at Frank's Place, burlesque, of course, is a striptease dance, as we all know. This looks like a lot of fun, a lot of participants. Burlesque, by the way, started way back many moons before I was born, back in the 17th century. No, I am not that old, but it started in Italy and France, eventually went to England, and it made its way over here to North America. Live in our studio right now is Amanda Allure. She is one of the participants of the Enchanted Tassel that'll take place at Frank's Place tomorrow. That's on Fulton Street. And so welcome, Amanda. How are you?
Thank you. I'm doing quite well, thank you.
So is this located, Frank's is located in the tower?
No,
assuming, or no, or close to the tower,
it's downtown.
Right? It's downtown.
It's
all right.
part of the Warner's Theater.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it's right there near the baseball stadium.
Yeah,
not
across
too
from
far
K-Jewel.
here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know where that is. So let's roll a videotape. We have another piece of videotape. So I mean, I touched on what burlesque is, but exactly what do the performers do as part of the Valley Burlesque Society?
We're part of neo-burlesque. So
what is that?
It's neo-burlesque. Well, there was burlesque, and then it kind of fell out of favor. Different things happened.
Okay.
We can talk on that later. But in the 1990s, simultaneously on both coasts in New York and then LA and Seattle, there was a reemergence of the old striptease style of burlesque. So that's the style we do. It's called neo-burlesque. So it has striptease, it has body humor, it has comedy, it can be a commentary of politics or current events or society, or it could just be wicked fun.
So you could make fun of current events in your actual performance?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
How do you do that?
Just the subject matter, like there's an artist, Dirty Martini, so she was making a commentary on capitalism.
Okay.
So she dressed up in red, white, and blue Uncle Sam, and part of her routine was pulling a string of dollar bills from an orifice, let's just say.
Oh, okay.
So, you know, that kind of thing. Or there was another artist who, through dance, made a commentary on the priest situation with the Catholic Church. So, you know, things like that.
Yeah. Now, have you ever done that? Ever made fun of politicians or current events or a certain topic or subject that you tackled? Or
I
no?
have a lowrider number that makes fun of, you know. Okay. But other than that, I'm more into the wicked fun.
Right. Now, the participants, how many women are there that take part in this?
Off and on, well, we have about 16 to 18 ladies. Not all of them participate at the same time. Some have other obligations like theater or their job that negates them from participating at a certain time. But off and on, we have a core of about 10 that routinely participate.
But they don't, burlesque is not, okay, it's a striptease, I mentioned that, but you don't completely declothe.
Oh no, totally illegal.
Yeah, totally illegal. So how far do you go? That's the question.
We go as far as we on stage personally choose to. The farthest down you can go would be pasties and a G-string or a panty.
Okay, but how many of the girls actually do that even? Not many, huh?
Not many, and sometimes I do, sometimes I don't.
Right.
So it's my choice.
Right. Is this almost like, in a way, okay, I've never been to one of these events, but is it almost like, yeah, I'm probably wrong about this, but is the event or the performance almost like slapstick comedy in a way?
Yes. It is? It
Really?
can be. It can be very comedic.
Good guess on my part, huh?
Excellent guess on your part. It could be very comedic, or it could be sultry and sensuous, or sexy. But for our group, it's never vulgar.
Yeah. So you try to stay away from the vulgarity part of it.
Yeah, that's not what we're about.
Yeah. So it's very respectful.
Tongue-in-cheek, respectful, fun.
Right.
So the idea is for the audience to have a good time.
Right. Okay, we're going to be back here on Connect with Me on MeTV Fresno talking to Amanda Allure, and the event takes place tomorrow night at Frank's Place, downtown Fresno, right there by the Warners. The Enchanted Tassel, it's called, starts at 8 o'clock. You can call in and ask a question, 436-MeTV, option 11. Back in just a moment.
Retro TV, your home for classic television. The greatest shows in history are here for you to enjoy. Join Cosby and Culp as secret agent men in I Spy. Ride along the Ponderosa with the Cartwrights in Bonanza. Hit the beat with Joe Friday in Dragnet. And that's not all. Retro TV offers endless fun and excitement for the whole family to enjoy. Retro TV, the best in classic television.
You can find Retro TV on over-the-air channel 13.4.
When you like Ventura TV Appliance on Facebook, it's nice. But when you love the Samsung big screen we deliver, it's even better. Our website is cool, and it's a good place to start. But you really should touch the merchandise before you buy. Time for that upgrade to an HD 3D web-enabled Samsung TV. Get the best selection, price, and service in town without waiting. Come in to Ventura TV Appliance and touch the merchandise today.
All right, back here with Amanda Allure. She's part of the Valley Burlesque Society. How did all this come about? You're the founder?
Yes, one of the co-founders.
All right. Now, the question is, why?
Well,
I'm not saying that like, as a negative. I mean,
it involves a story.
I'm glad you did, but why burlesque? Why didn't you start a hockey club, for God's sake, for women? We have a phone call here. Anyway, we'll get to that question in just a moment. Caller, go ahead. You're on the air with Amanda Allure.
I have not heard what the price would be.
Oh, yeah.
It's $15.
Oh.
If you the doors will open at 7, and dinner is available for $10. It includes teriyaki chicken, rice, salad, bread, and drink from the bar, like a beer, wine, or a well drink.
All right.
And,
I think you had another. Did you have another question there?
Dinner and the show.
I'm sorry?
25 for the dinner and the show.
Yes. But
all right.
You don't
Looking
have.
forward to seeing you guys.
Thank you.
You're going out there tomorrow?
Oh, absolutely.
I hope you're at least 18.
Yeah, you better be.
I cannot bring my grandson.
He has to be 18.
Yeah.
I did not hear that either.
Oh.
All right.
Okay.
But I'll be there.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Thank you for the call. Thanks for the participation. So $25 gets you dinner. What else?
Dinner's optional. So it's $15 at the door, or you can go online at warners.org.
But if you want to buy dinner, it's $25 for dinner and the show.
Yes.
And you have to be 18 or older.
Or older.
Yeah, you can't. Okay. All right. All right. You want to leave your kids at home? You can. Better have a babysitter, though, or you get in trouble. Anyway, so why did you co-found this particular organization?
I was involved in the dance scene anyway, so that's why not hockey. I was a belly dancer.
Okay.
So I belonged with a belly dance group in town, and I was doing research on a number. We were in the Rogue Festival, and I had a solo number.
The Rogue Festival being the
Rogue
Tower.
The Tower,
okay.
right.
Yeah.
And so I did this number with Feather Fans, which brought me to Sally Rand. And I had a friend who said, hey, I found online there's this group of ladies that teach in Hollywood. I will drive you every Sunday if you want to take this class.
Right.
So my friend and I got in the car every Sunday for about 8 months. We went to Hollywood and learned burlesque. And so, there's a lot of time driving over the grapevine. And so we said, with all this time and expense, we shouldn't just let it end with nothing. Let's start something here in Fresno. And we did. So
Yeah. Now, Sally Rand being, she was a burlesque dancer, I believe, in the 40s, 50s, somewhere in
right,
there?
40s. And she did the giant feather fans, the white fans, and also a bubble number.
Yeah.
She danced with this giant bubble.
Bubble machine or something?
No,
or
it was a giant latex bubble.
Okay, all right. Now, what's the clientele? How's the clientele? And who are these people that are going to these burlesque things? And is the place sold out usually? Like last week's event, what was it called again? The Fetish?
3 nights of Fetish,
All right,
sold out.
3 nights of Fetish,
Yeah,
sold out.
Sold out.
How many people?
The theater holds 51 people.
Okay, so who's going to these things?
It's couples. You can have like single guys, but you can bring your date. It's husband and wife. Age group for that show at the Rogue was maybe 20s to 70s.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah. Single people?
No, couples.
Couples, even.
Couples and groups of friends.
Yeah, and do you get standing ovations? Usually, or?
I would prefer them to sit and enjoy the show and not. It's not really a standing ovation kind of thing.
Right. And what's the entertainment value? I want you to explain, in your eyes, what the entertainment value is.
What I find fun about it is the rapport that the performer, the dancer, has with the audience, and the tongue-in-cheek comedy that they share. You're dancing on the stage and you're removing pieces of your costume to do the striptease, and you know that people are watching you, and they know that you are watching them watch you. So there's a connection, a little fun connection that happens.
I guess you can't be bashful and do a routine. You can't. If you're a performer in one of these events, you can't exactly be shy and reserved, right?
You can be, but you have your performer name, and so you have it's acting. It's acting. So you have your character name, you make your face up to become your character, and with your character comes certain maybe personality traits that maybe you don't have but you'd like to have, so that it will help you a little bit get out there and be less bashful and shy.
Right. And how many of the women are actually fairly shy?
I would say 2. One for sure, 2, at least 2.
Two. But it's better to have an outgoing personality. It fits the performance much better, I'm sure.
Less terror before you hit the stage, let's say.
Yeah. How much preparation goes into this?
For me to get the show,
yeah, and then on the night of the event,
a couple weeks, and then I usually do a minimal decoration on the tables at Frank's, because each show usually has some sort of theme.
Yeah.
And then making the DVD and promotions and stuff.
All right. I mean, let's take the single shot of Amanda here. Now explain we can see the 2-shot. You're wearing the long gloves and the feather in your hair.
Right.
And of course you got the scarf there. What does this outfit represent here?
Well, for me, feathers got me into burlesque, so feathers are kind of my thing. So I usually have some sort of feather.
It's kind of symbolic with
burlesque. For me, it's kind of symbolic. It's kind of very Mae West-ish, because she was very burlesque-y. And then gloves are an item that you can take off during your striptease, and they're silky and shiny.
Okay.
So for me, it's part of the.
Now, is this a routine or a costume? I want to call it costume, but this is part of the attire that you would wear on stage?
No. The gloves and the boa, yes, but the costume is more of a glamour costume, depending on the character. Like my lowrider costume is very chola.
You're a lowrider?
I am.
You got a cycle?
In my personal life, yes, I do.
Wow. Hey, I didn't know that.
I do.
Cool.
Motorcycle mama.
Holy smokes. All right. Hey, that's going to do it for us today here on Connect with Me. Amanda, good luck. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Did you ride your bike here today?
Oh, no, I had the car.
You left it at home?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Amanda, Allure, you're going to be back, I think, in a month or two to talk, and you're going to bring some guests with you. All right. That's going to do it for us today. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it. Hope you have a good weekend. Remember, Dennis Hart, the one and only, will be here on Monday. He and I will be going at it, my friends. It'll be over Benjamin Netanyahu. It'll be a lot of fun. Glad when Dennis is here any and all times. Have a good weekend. See you Monday.